Welcome to another round of imagination practice that will include some good hand movements and also some nice sounds when I can. So just relax and open your mind to whatever your imagination brings up for each of my prompts. So first, I want you to imagine that you find a little stump in the middle of the woods, and you peer over the edge of the stump, and inside it is a little bakery run by mice, and you can hear their little squeaky, 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 squeaky. And you can hear the kind of like tapping of wooden spoons and stirring and mixing, and they're just rustling around, keeping super busy, making tiny little mouse pastries, and they're all wearing super cute aprons and chef hats and just having the best time. Okay, so erase. And new one is I want you to imagine that there is a cloud above you, and it is able to write a letter to you where a paper-shaped piece of cloud comes down to you, and then it can write by having empty space where the letters would be, and so you can hold it up against the grass and the green will shine through and show you the little message, and you can read whatever special message you think the clouds want you to know. Okay, erase that. And your next one is going to be, I want you to imagine that you have a little baby unicorn sitting in your lap, and you're just brushing its mane, and you can decide what color its mane is, how little it is. Is it sleeping? Is it nuzzling you? Okay, good. Erase that. And next, I want you to imagine that you have again wandered into a forest, and all over the forest is little teacups, and inside each of those teacups is kind of like you can see into the water, and it reflects a different world to you. So you look into one little teacup and you touch the water, and you can see a field of foxes running and playing and being cute and adorable. And then you go to another teacup over here and you look inside, and the water shows you a family of badgers that are eating a bunch of apples, and they're cuddling together in their burrow. And then the third one, this will be up to you, but you go over and look into the third teacup, and what do you see inside? Good. So erase, reset, and this time I'm going to imagine that there's a kitty that shows up and meows at you, and you follow this kitty into a little meadow that is completely filled with flowers, and in a little clearing of flowers you see a bunch of fairies that are knitting, and they're just making little socks for all of the forest critters around. Maybe some kitten mittens. But they're just sitting in this circle of flowers, knitting and enjoying a good time. Okay, erase and reset. And this time I want you to imagine that you got invited to Willy Wonka's factory and you're in the room where everything is edible. It's a beautiful garden and there is a river of chocolate and there are daffodils that are little cups filled with hot chocolate. And you can go over to a mushroom, and the big white circle is made out of whipped cream, so you can take a big scoop and have a nice little snack. And you just walk around and try different things, and I want you to think of something else that you would eat in this decadent garden. Good. And erase and reset. Okay, this time you see a little firefly and he's buzzing all around you. And he wants you to follow him. So you follow this firefly and you are guided into the biggest mushroom that you've ever seen. And I want you to imagine what this mushroom looks like. Is it the cartoony red with white spots? Is it more psychedelic and purple and green? Or is it more earthy and brown? Or like a mushroom you're used to eating? However you imagine your mushroom, you see a chimney and a soft billow of smoke coming out of the chimney. And the firefly is inviting you to come inside. Good. So erase and reset. And now it is a dragon's birthday party. And they desperately need your help to decorate some cupcakes. So you have this little cupcake and he wants your help deciding how to decorate the top. So I want you to imagine how you would decorate this cupcake. Would you pipe some icing on top? Would you put sprinkles on it? Or would you put little cutouts of cute pictures on some toothpicks to stick in? Would you make it glittery? How would you decorate this super special dragon cupcake? Okay, erase and reset. And next you find a wishing well that is bubbling and inviting you to make a wish. And right next to the well is a frog who hand waves you over and points down into the water and wants you to make a wish. So with your imagination, make a wish. Okay, and erase and reset. And this time I want you to imagine that you are lost in the dark and you see a ghost, but this ghost is immediately very friendly and just wants to wrap you up in a blanket and make sure that you are comfy and cozy and can go to sleep. So imagine what your blanket looks like and what the ghost looks like, and then how warm and cozy it feels to get wrapped up. Good. Alright. And reset. Okay, this time I want you to imagine that you are riding on the back of a giant owl, and it's a beautiful glowing sky with the northern lights. So you see blues and pinks and purples and greens, and you can feel the wind in your face. And you are perfectly comfortable and cozy, and you feel super safe. And I just want you to imagine what it looks like to look up at these amazing special northern lights. Are they just rays of color that shift and change? Or do you see images? What does the sky look like in your mind? Okay, now I want you to imagine that you are the person that is responsible for painting rainbows. And so it was just a super rainy day, and it's starting to clear up, and the sun is coming out. So you have to get your paintbrush out and paint a big rainbow into the sky. So I want you to imagine what your paintbrush looks like. What does the sky look like? How much sun is showing? And how vivid and large do you want your rainbow to be? Is it going to be over a meadow, over the ocean, over a neighborhood, over a forest? Where do you want to paint your rainbow? And then when you're ready, go ahead. Paint it in the sky. Good. Erase and reset. Okay, this time I want you to imagine that you found a special magical box, and when you open it, a lovely little song starts playing, and I want to see if you can imagine what kind of song that would be. Is it nice soft chimes? Is it a full orchestra? Is it electronic music? Is it some death metal? What music would pop out at you and just fill you with so much excitement and wonder? Okay, and erase and reset. And this time I want you to imagine that it is a beautiful night sky. There are stars everywhere, and there is a cat made of stardust right next to you. And this cat is being a very typical cat and is super hungry and wants you to go find him some celestial kitty food to feed him. So I want you to imagine that you're walking through the night sky, looking for that can of celestial cat food. And then when you find it, I want you to imagine and try and hear and feel what it feels like to have to open that can. And then you can hear the purrs and probably the insistent meows of the kitty, very patiently or impatiently waiting for their food. Erase, reset, and this time I want you to imagine that you are in a garden full of flowers, but they're all budded up, and the only way that you can get them to bloom is by giving them compliments. So I want you to think of some beautiful compliments for these flowers, or even for yourself, whichever feels better. So you are an incredible imaginer. You're doing such a good job of thinking of these wonderful situations. Or I really love how sweet and empathetic you are and how much you care about others. You are a really hardworking person, and that doesn't get recognized enough. You are extremely well thought out, and everything you do is with intention. You are a great friend and a wonderful companion. Now I want you to think of a couple of compliments. Good. And then we're going to erase and reset. And your next practice is going to be that you're given a pair of earmuffs. And when you get the earmuffs, you're able to hear what dogs think. So imagine a dog that you would love to go chat to, and they're right in front of you, and you put the earmuffs on. And I want you to imagine what the dog would be saying. Are they hungry? Do they love you? What's going on? Are they asking for pets? Are they wanting to go for a walk? What does your dog want to say to you? Okay, and erase and reset. And this time I want you to imagine that you were out looking at a beautiful sunset, and you saw under the sunset something fall from the sky, and you go find a baby phoenix, a red bird with beautiful plumage everywhere. And you just want to soothe the bird and brush its feathers. So I want you to imagine what all the feathers look like. Are they all red, or are there some gold, or even some magical fire? How does it feel to brush this perfect little phoenix? Is it warm? erase and reset. And this time I want you to imagine that you are by a pond and you see a magical dragonfly come fly right up to you. And his wings are beating very loudly, making that kind of motorboat noise. And the dragonfly motions for you to get onto this giant lily pad. And when you do, a whole bunch of other dragonflies, hundreds of them, dozens of them, as many as you want, show up and start pushing the lily pad to take you on an adventure through the pond or the lake. So I want you to imagine, what do all the dragonflies look like? What does your pond look like? And where are you going? What is going to be your destination? Is there a destination? Do you just want to go for a nice ride? Are there other animals around? Good. And erase and reset. And now we're going to do one more. I want you to imagine that a squirrel has found you, and he grabs at your pant leg and pulls on it and wants you to follow him. And he's super cute and just pitter-patters away. And so you follow after him until he gets to a giant tree, and he guides you inside of the tree. And it's a tree house in the most obvious sense, where you can walk into the trunk through a door, and it's fully furnished with a kitchen and a living room and a super cozy bed. And he brings you to the couch and sits you down, and then is able to drape a nice blanket over you. And you are so cozy and comfortable. It's really soft and it feels really good. And then the squirrel pitter-patters around some more, and he lights a bunch of candles, and he points to a mini fridge next to you that is full of whatever decadent snack you want in this moment. And there's also a kettle right next to you if you want some warm beverage like tea or coffee. And then once you're all settled and cozy, the cute little squirrel scurries onto your lap and settles right in your lap and cuddles up and falls asleep. And you gently pet the squirrel. And you both take a nap together. Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me on this imagination practice. I hope your mind is full of magical, imaginative thoughts, and that you have a wonderful rest of